crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
Hello and welcome to Discover Crypto, the Blockchain Basement BitLab Academy Consortium. I am the truth and the markets are on fire. We're going to take a look at some problematic charts and signals and data for XRP that is not going to make people happy, but they don't call me the truth for no reason. We also have the potential invasion of aliens, aka demons, coming to Earth, and a whale shorting this market to the ground right now with an insane track record. We're going to take a look at all of this and more on today's episode. Welcome one, welcome all to the show. I am joined by my illustrious host that is right in front of the burning Colosseum of Rome. Kelly Kellum, how are you feeling, buddy?
You know, I'm feeling like the market's getting frustrated. Very much so. You know, I do want to highlight this from Quentin Francois. He said, the worst cycle in history and months of boredom. We had 3 magnificent days of euphoria and then followed by the biggest liquidation event in history, then straight back to depressing sideways. What the F is going on? So I think the market is really, I can sense it. I can feel it in the sentiment in the space. I can see it in crypto Twitter. I see people bickering, arguing, upset. ATHENA just completely went bankrupt. You see, you're seeing frustration sort of pivot here into the space in a major way. And you know what? I got to say, I'm bullish on it. That might sound weird or cold-hearted, but it's the moments where the most frustration starts to manifest that all of a sudden you get this green rocket that just slices all the way through your sternum. So I'm trying not to have a green rocket slice through my sternum and just prepare for it.
Absolutely, Kelly. And you know what? Shout out to the chat. What we got to cover today is going to terrify some, excite others, and keep some people on the sidelines in max fear. But that's just the way things go here in crypto. We got to cover everything that we can. Oh my God, that's Michael Saylor making a shot at it. There's so much to cover, you guys. First, let's hop into coin market cap and see what the markets are actually looking like right now. So Bitcoin at $108,000 flat. It's down 1.8% on the day. ETH is breaking below $4,000 pretty viciously right now at 3,800. BNB still holding on by the tips of its fingertips above $1,000. XRP $2.37. But the problem that's getting the XRP army depressed really shouldn't be so depressing. Look at the all-time graph. Now, where the bearishness comes into play is on the month. They lost this $3 battleground, right? And I know we're going to dive into the charts. There's actually some insane data behind the TVL and the mechanics of XRP that I'm really, really excited for Kelly to dive into later on in the show today. But you got to call a spade a spade. XRP is slowly sliding down the top 10. The pain is real. Retail is being bludgeoned to death by institutional investors. And the PSYOP is real, right? The PSYOP is real. A lot of the attention for altcoins went to the likes of Chainlink, to Aave, to Morpho, and even Jito Labs out of Solana yesterday, bull posting and talking to the Federal Reserve about altcoins. Absolutely insane. XRP, the new ATHENA. One in chat if XRP is the next ATHENA. ATHENA went down, folks. Oh, shout out. What are these New Zealand bucks? What is that worth? Tell me all your picks and how far they've come. Let's see here. I hold Arrow. I have like $100 Nando. Plume, I have a very small amount, but I got it at 8.3 cents. And then I hold Morpho, obviously, which I picked up a huge chunk at 87 cents, but my original buy was $1.20. So layering into Morpho at 87 cents brought the average buy down to essentially $1, right? So the average buy on Morpho is $1, and then Chainlink, I've actually been building that bag since the last bull market / bear market Original buy was $1.90, and then I added to the position with a very ferocious move at $5, and then a little bit more at $13. So the average buy on my Chainlink bag is coming right at about $4 right now. I appreciate the super chat. I wonder where the hell I could spend New Zealand dollars. What are those worth? So I appreciate the super chat and the question there, buddy. Now, here we go. Let's cover some news. Let's cover the action. The blood is real. We have BTC obviously doing its thing. The main pain in the game is in these damn altcoins, Kelly. This is where people are just losing their minds because the bull market, the alt season hasn't happened yet. And really there is a sense of discouragement that makes me feel like this is purposeful. It makes me feel like a lot of these really good projects are being suppressed and people are being washed out through market makers, liquidations, and the ability for Binance to pull liquidity right at peak trading hours showed me just how early we actually are. I want to know in the chat, let me know down in the chat, if you have the balls to buy crypto right now, what was the last crypto that you bought? I want to know what you bought if you're willing to do so. If you've got the gusto to lean into a Red Sea and Kelly's beautiful face and buy one of these chaotic projects, what is it? Kelly, what was the last thing that you bought?
Chainlink. I've just been layering into Chainlink. Really layering in, especially at these levels, especially with what we just saw from, I almost said Devos the other day, but at Cybos, that they had, and the fact that Sergey Nazarov is there with the Fed and, talking with the legislators, it really feels monumentally important when you look at the foundation for what's happening moving forward with payment, with on-chain, with integration of old world, new world, all at the same time, and Chainlink is right smack dab in the middle of it. I think it's an overwhelming gift to see that price action where it's at, that Chainlink hasn't run away, because at the same time with Chainlink's, what's the market cap of Chainlink? Like 13 billion?
Yeah, it's like 13 bill.
Because then you look at XRP is sitting here at $147 billion. You're telling me XRP that has none of those integrations is bigger than Santander, one of the largest banks in the world, Palo Alto, one of the biggest VC tech companies out there, a Capital One, major banking group, Pfizer, Toronto Dominion Bank, Lowe's. You're telling me XRP is bigger than all these, having done not a damn thing. That's the problem. But does it still have room to run to the upside? That's the question.
And that's the big question here, because XRP, I think, has things going for it. Like unit bias is definitely a thing. And it's the 5th biggest market cap if you do include the one stable coin in the top 5. But really, the problem and my gripe with XRP has always been that its market cap is too damn high for the actual things that it does, right? It's $142 billion market cap right now. It did run to $200 billion market cap. And I think in the chaotic final blow off top for alt season, I do think that is indeed coming. Call me crazy if you must. I think XRP can get like $4 to $5. But me looking for a hopeful outlook of like a 1.5x on an altcoin is hard or stupid.
Well, here's the deal, though. I will say this about XRP. I do not mean to trash it, but I feel like we have to acknowledge something for XRP. It has one of the strongest communities out there. So strong that they don't even look at data, right? But the fact of the matter is there's a lot of people, as they enter the crypto market, they're aware of Shiba Inu, they're aware of Doge, they're aware of XRP. So in a way, and I don't mean this as a negative thing. In fact, this is probably work to the benefit of XRP, but XRP has really got one major thing going for it at the moment until they announce some real partnerships that really get integrated and real payments and banks using, they have the mimetic sort of functionality like a meme. It's almost like a financial meme because when people come into the ecosystem, XRP is one of those first pickups for a lot of retail when they come in because they've heard about it so much. So I do think it has that going for it. And I do think it's probably still going to perform decently well into this cycle. Now, is it going to 10x? Is it going to 10x? You're telling me it's going to go to 1.3, $1.4 trillion this cycle? I don't see that happening.
You know, and it's such a convoluted conversation because I think investing in the technology of Ripple is actually a pretty reasonable thing to do. But the release of the stablecoin RLUSD basically takes the place of what XRP aimed to do. Now, as things sit, yes, XRP is used in a fraction of a percent as that burn mechanism should a stablecoin be sent on the Ripple ledger. But the pressure and the tokenomic control of it is basically non-existent, right? And to be on the other side of let's go over this first.
Well, when you're
Kelly,
talking about the burn rate, I
yes.
mean, this shocked me. This shocked me. Okay, the burn rate drops. What happens with the burn rate? Why and when do they burn? Has to do with activity on chain. Has to do with TVL. $140 billion coin, right? Their DEX volume is $6 million. That is such a not even a pea. That's not even a grain of sand on the beach for comparison. Because of its slow ecosystem growth, as evidenced by its decentralized finance network, its total value locked in the DeFi industry is only $86 million on a $140 billion market cap. That to me says basically non-existence. I mean, the fundamentals don't suggest that there's a massive amount of growth. It's not just, okay, the army's strong, right? But what does the data say? Is there increase in usage in TVL? Are there more people using the DEX? Are there more? These kind of signals are things that tell me, hey, I need to be looking elsewhere. Maybe you don't want to sell this because you've been holding on to it and you have a low price entry. Great. It probably still will have a pump left in it. But when you're looking the future of finance, I don't see that here. Maybe something changes.
Yeah. And, you know, for people that did buy XRP along with, I was one of them. I bought XRP for 17 cents in the COVID dip, right? So if you did grab the sack and buy a decent bag of this thing during the COVID crash or during these lows at 50 cents, you're up well. The problem that I have with this consistent narrative of XRP happening in this range is people are hammering in at the top and basically a consolidation at previous all-time highs, expecting it to go to $100. Now, tokenomics, value within the chain matter when it comes to this. And the burn mechanism, as Crypto Stevo and Veteran Crypto is highlighting, is not strong enough to really control the tokenomic and not cause sickness from inflation. Now, sickness from inflation on tokens is a real thing, and the best way to visualize this is one of my favorite projects to pick on, Algorand. Algorand is dog shit. And when you go to the all-time graph, this is a ride down to zero. Now, if you compare it to market cap, though, and how much money is actually going in and how much people are being shilled into this project, the market cap barely has a set of higher lows, right? I mean, you look at the market cap, you're like, okay, we get pretty consistent rise here. But if you go to price, it is inverse, right? And this is what happens when a token falls sick to inflationary pressure, and none of the things that they really set out to do were accomplished over the course of a few bull market cycles, right? ISO 20022, often referred to within XRP communities as the linchpin that puts it into play with the world finance revolution that's going on right now. But I want to be very, very clear. ISO 20022 is a messaging standard. It's essentially a new format of email or communication from bank to bank. All right. This is not a tramp stamp of approval on a crypto project to be guaranteed to be ushered into the next version of the dollar. So with that being said, I just want everyone to keep cognizant. And a good example of this is Algorand. Last bull market, you know, before the market really kicked off, Algorand was pretty decent. It was 31 cents and the market cap came in right at about $300 million. Now you have a price of, hold on, 17 cents. And you have a market cap of $1.5 billion. Metrics skewed, right? You have way higher market cap, and the token itself is about half the price, right? And that's what happens when the project doesn't put tokenomic controls, right? That is why I have to call this out. And sure, I could come out here and title XRP to $800. Here's why, and get all the views from it. Or I could just be honest with the stats, with the data, and with the actual use case that we see. And that's why they call me the truth. I'm not sorry. I'm not going to come on here and I love altcoins. I love what the ecosystem does and the potential of remaking what we know as data communication, money flow, all of those things I find fascinating and exciting. And I'm a utility token investor. I love the concept of it. But when I see millions of people getting ready to be disappointed, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I didn't warn them. So there is that. Let me know in the chat. Am I wrong? Do you think that XRP is going to rise to $10 over the course of the next year? Simple yes or no. XRP to $10, yes or no? Let me know down in the chat. I want to do a litmus test of the chat and see where your mindsets are. Now we got to cover the rest of the markets here. And you know what? GT3, I hope I'm wrong, right? Hope I'm wrong. Now, this is the doom and gloom action out there. Bitcoin prime for a dip to 100K before October resumes, says Standard Chartered, major bank, talking about investors reacting to developments between the U.S. and China over tariffs and trade, talking about Bitcoin getting ready to fall below the $100,000 mark before pushing upwards to new all-time highs. Standard Chartered remains bullish, but on a Wednesday note, the global head of digital assets and research at the bank wrote that the dip below $100,000 seems inevitable. Now, although the dump may be short-lived, a dump like this would absolutely bludgeon hopes and dreams and really wash out a lot of weak hands that are not in crypto for the ethos of what crypto actually is. They're here.
So wait, what you're saying is it would spike the fear.
Absolutely.
So I do want to highlight, we got a double super chat from Francisco Reyes 97. He said, buying when fear is below 30, which go back to that chart. Look at this. We are below 30. We hit the 25. We hit the 24. We're down at 22. But when you're buying below 30, it really does set up some of the best buying opportunities out there. Now, he basically gave us the whole list of everything that he holds and everything else that he's buying, many of which of those I like, some of those I could care less about, but I think they're all probably going to do very well. I do very much appreciate the super chat there, Mr. Francisco Reyes, but I agree. You hit the nail on the head. Mark Yusko says it best. Every other market in the world, if you think back to school, people look for back to school sales. Those clothes are on sale. So you go in, you get this flood of consumers going in to buy products because they're on sale. Financial markets are basically the only market that when you see these major dips in price action, AKA if the asset has incredible, not only forward-looking where it's going to fit in the forward picture, and also the integration, also the adoption, the forward-looking outlook is bullish as it can be, then these are sales, not the market crashing. It's on sale. It's on sale when you get into these red zones. I would argue for those that don't have a huge amount of trading experience, anytime you get these, even in a bear trend, great buy opportunity, great buy opportunity, great buy opportunity. Then you're not buying tops every time you're in the green. Now, when you scale it up just a little bit more, and we break it down here on the channel regularly, you can identify when you're kind of coming near a cycle bottom and get very aggressive on these very fearful zones when you're in a bull trend, much like we are right now.
And you can be aggressive on ghost chains at extreme lows. Like ICP made me very angry from the last bull market, and I took my revenge on ICP, not by selling it, but in this situation, like, I don't even know where ICP is. Oh my God, it's number 51. Like, last market, it was supposed to be the new internet. I bought a couple tokens for like $100 a piece, dumped it at $50 a piece, major loss, and then watched this thing flop and grope at extreme lows for quite some time. But when I started to see the signals that we were actually going to wake back up as an entire market in aggregate, I decided to back the truck up and 1000x my holdings in XRP at $3 a piece. And then I cheated them for $16.50. You can take your revenge if you're buying it at the right time, even if it's a completely useless project. A lot of things move when the tide of Ethereum rises, right? Now, if you are sitting on a 3 to 4x, take the profits, leave a moon bag behind, right? Take the profits, leave a moon bag behind. It's okay. I really implore people that the goal here is to outpace inflation, right? And, you do with that what you may. Kelly, I do want to I was talking about Bitcoin on the larger time frames. I know you don't like my Fibonacci colors, but we're still going to look at them. Okay, we're still going to look. Let's see. I'm going to go down to the weekly time frame just to give people some perspective on where we are. So this is our current situation. We are flopping and groping right above the 1.618 Fibonacci level. And this is from previous market top to market low of $15,600. Now, I think a lot of people are going to have an extremely hard time holding on to their altcoins, their crypto, if we dip momentarily, like Standard Chartered is talking about, below $100,000. But if you look at it from a structural standpoint, it makes a whole hell of a lot of sense to see something like this, where you come down, tap that Fibonacci zone, and start to move up. Because look what's been happening, you guys. Ever since ETFs have been in place, what we have is a staircase of institutionally controlled up into the right action. You pump up to $74,000, wash down to 49, and then make your move to the next zone. You pump to new all-time highs, wash down to previous highs, and then go to the next zone. Now we're in the next zone. Logic tells me that we are indeed going to have to return here. We've been there momentarily for 5 minutes or however long it was when Binance pulled liquidity, but I don't think we're out of the woodwork yet. Looking at this, it makes a lot of structural sense for us to come back down, tap, and really dig into this previous range high before the next move up. But look at the forest through the trees, folks. We, in an underperformance of Bitcoin in this cycle, would be hitting between $150,000 to $200,000 per Bitcoin. That's landing between the 2.618 and the 3.618. Now, last market, Kelly, remember, everyone complained about not hitting $100,000 Bitcoin. We didn't deserve it because we pumped all the way on up to the top performance level. On Bitcoin's price, we absolutely landed between the 3.618 and the 4.236. This time, I am being conservative, targeting the purple zone here between $150,000 to $200,000.
Between $150,000 and $200,000.
Yes. Absolutely.
Well,
I feel like that's conservative.
It's funny because I switch over to my screen here.
Yeah.
This is a chart that I've had up for, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months. And we have these basically zones. The 2.618 is $158,000. The 3.618 is $213,000. So I'm kind of in the same ballpark. I think we're going to end up somewhere in here for the cycle top. But I think what's completely jacking me up now looking forward is if we're going to continue, and just so you all know, I did this purposefully the way I broke this down. It's in the pinned comment on my page, but I kind of outlined what these different phases were and how it changed. We had a regularly scheduled bull run. This was the start of Bitcoin financialization. Why? Because this is where the ETFs got approved. And then right here, the Bitcoin global stage. This is where the US government also is saying, yeah, we agree with this, and BlackRock and Fidelity, and we have governments out there stacking. The world is racing to stack Bitcoin. So the interesting, I think we're going to have to start to change the conversation about this idea of what the top is going to be, because if I'm thinking, and if you're thinking, maybe we get a little bit more of a sell-off into this gift from God buy zones. Very similar on this chart. I've had this box here for some time. This is that, just like Standard and Chartered, just under $100,000, getting that peak fear. But if we're going to, let's turn off everything on here. If we're going to continue doing this, then how do you say, let's say we do it all the way through 2026. Is there a top? There's no real top there.
What do you sell it into as well? Right. Like, what do you want your government printed fiat currency? And this is what a concept I've been talking about for a really long time before it became mainstream is the New Deal. Trump, the Treasury, the Federal Reserve are getting ready to print 10 to $20 trillion to expand power infrastructure, data center infrastructure, and a public release of AI to replace as many jobs as they possibly can over the next 10 years. They're going to do this. They're going to increase the money supply by at least a third of what it currently sits at, which they just doubled it, right? So what do we sell into? We sell Bitcoin for their garbage fiat? No, this is a collapse up. This is a collapse up in terms of inflation, cost of goods, cost of Bitcoin. And is there a top to Bitcoin? Well, you got to ask yourself, is there a bottom to the dollar? With what's coming, is there a bottom to the dollar?
And I do think like even right now, as much as we're being bullish on the longer term time frame looking at crypto, people want to know in the next couple weeks, you know, is this month going to resolve bullishly? Are we going to get bullishness in November? Is it all over? I would argue with this chart right here, this is basically the buy and sell pressure delta. So very simply, in the bull trend, this washout isn't complete until you get everybody committed short. Everybody, oh my God, selling, and then slingshot up. Okay, cool. Everybody's buying. People took profits into that, which is how this melted back down. And then you get the tourists out there. The question is, are you a tourist? You're a tourist if you bought high and you sold low. You're not a tourist if you go, oh, everybody's scared. This must be the time to buy. And you can see it on the chart when it flips red. So we have not yet done that. So as bullish as you and I are, Drew, that doesn't mean that I'm not looking forward for a potential move a little bit lower down. I do want to just highlight everybody, when this price action on Bitcoin broke to new all-time highs before the halving, I drew this box over here about where I thought the price was going to resolve to the upside. Look at where it resolved to the upside. Go back in the BitLab Academy videos in February of last year, whenever it was. But then when is that? Yeah, so March, February. Cool. We have this outline. The price, look at this, already rounded into that, shot out. I similarly have a box here, and this kind of straddles into about mid-November. I think you highlighted earlier today when we were talking, Drew, this government shutdown, for better or worse, I think does the favor to the ecosystem in markets in general, because we got midterms next year. We have a softening financial landscape with the Fed. We're getting reduction. We're starting to limit the quantitative tightening. But then in addition to that, everybody was expecting October. The market doesn't give what everybody's expecting. I think this is all just getting pushed forward about a month or 6 weeks.
Jose's, he could care less if it goes up or down. He's here for the chicks. Shout out to it. But I would suggest going, make sure Avalanche is part of your ecosystem if you're looking for chicks. It's just unhinged. There's a whale that is ready to short this. Oh my God.
What kind of chicks you here for?
Oh my God, Kelly. I didn't know that was coming. There's a whale that's shorting the living hell out of this market right now. Is it Barron? I don't know if it's Barron. They keep putting his face on this, but let's actually go look at the hyperliquid position right now. So this whale has a total value of $36.6 million. Currently with leverage at 3.8%, 3.8x. This trade is worth $140 million. They have made $9 million this morning, an extremely high win rate. I've been tracking this directly. I do implore you to use the power of blockchain and, viewing, different whales and what they're getting into. This whale has an extremely strong track record, and they are shorting this market. And when I look at the liquidity grab, the reason for exchanges to cause us hell and pain. What is that? CoinGlass is down. Look at this.
Oh,
CoinGlass is down again. Oh, wow. God, are things about to get really bad? You remember that?
You know what? Hey, it's all good because
CoinGlass went down right before.
Okay, dude. We're here. We're here for the chicks, man.
Okay, let's check. Oh,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Dude, this is kind of sketchy though. Right before the mega crash last time, CoinGlass was down. So maybe this mega whale
on down detector.
Yeah, search on down detector right now. This is kind of crazy to see. Now where we are in terms of the universe, kind of calling into question. All right, let's pull this up. NASA has quietly activated a planetary defense network for 3i Atlas without saying a word.
Guys, we're living in the reality of sci-fi lifestyle now. They announced aliens during COVID. Nobody even cared. They're like, yeah, you know what? I'm over it. Now we have Interplanetary Galactic Space Force arming the lasers. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, and so let's read through this. Buried in tonight's official MPEC 2025 U142, and this is a whole word salad. The Minor Planet Center's internal bulletin It's an editorial notice that says it all. This is absolutely crazy. So announcement of IAWN Comet Astrometry campaign, like astrometry, November 27, 2025 to January 27th of 2026. The campaign will target Comet 3I Atlas. Be clear that it's not a Reddit rumor, a 4chan leak. This is straight from the IAU, hosted on Harvard's Minor Planet Center, issued on behalf of NASA's International Asteroid Warning Network, the same group that coordinates global tracking of planetary defense scenarios. Okay, things are escalating quickly. So this is what's happening. For the first time in history, an interstellar object, namely 3I Atlas, has been formally enrolled into a planetary defense level observation campaign. They're calling it a test of improved astrometry methods.
Dude,
now
we gotta get you on Hooked on Phonics, bro.
I mean, that's a whole word salad right there.
Astronomy.
No, it's astrometry. Okay, it's astrometry.
Astrometry.
I refuse to change, Kelly.
I love it.
I did have a guy in the arena show highlight that it's likely they're going to be using a rod of God on this, but I'm not sure how that would quite work if they don't have gravitational pull. But since when did we have Men in Black? Like, I didn't know that this is real. I didn't know that we had a interplanetary defense network, and apparently it's been activated for this freaking comment. So if we all go, we go. We're gonna have the Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb announcing that he's going to go onto the Joe Rogan Experience for an exclusive interview about this, where he plans to reveal some of the interesting news about this crazy comet. Absolutely insane. Now, gold still riding downtown. Gold dropped hard.
Well, hold on. Let me find it really quick.
What you got?
I mean, Peter Schiff was trying to dunk on Bitcoin, and then, you know, he dunks every time Bitcoin drops just a little bit, but he doesn't say anything when gold drops. And no matter what, guys, you can't stop Bitcoin, no matter how much you want to, Peter Schiff.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, why don't we look at, all right, so let's look at gold and then gold versus Bitcoin.
By the way, CoinGlass is working fine on my end. It might be your computer.
Oh, okay. Let me just reload. Maybe it was just momentary here. Yeah, it's back up for me. So that 104 mark, that yellow line right there, is what's concerning. There is nearly $500 million to grab for exchanges if the price were to fall to 104 in that kind of shorter term. So, you know, if you are wanting to long, if you are wanting to short, just please use stop losses. You guys, like, please don't blow up your whole bag trying to chase the chaos of the markets. They're there for a reason. Be careful out there. I know I yesterday was incredible. I made like $5,000 in 2 minutes or 2 hours, but you know, it's not all strippers and burritos. Okay. And if you don't have a stop loss on, chaos can happen very, very quickly.
You say strippers and burritos?
Yeah.
That's a good.
I'm sorry. I'm a little unhinged today.
Yeah.
US inflation climbing back to 2.25%. September CPI hitting 2.9%. There's Jerome Powell doing some useless hand motions as he's getting ready to cut interest rates into an inflationary return. And also Cadena went bankrupt. Absolutely insane. And I want to know from the chat, which altcoin in the top 200 is the next to fall? We have a lot of geniuses out there that know everything, I can tell. What is the next blockchain to fall like we saw happen to Cadena? There's a lot of conversations about Cadena's integration, people shilling it all the way to the very end. And it did indeed end yesterday. And actually, I think it's valid to go look at the chart just for some popcorn and viewing. Let's see here. So we're down by 62%. Holy good googly moogly. You know, just because a chart looks like this, and a lot of people are like, it's going to go back to all-time highs. It's not the case. It's not the case. You cannot guarantee that. Now, in a very short amount of time, it has lost 67.1%.
Dude, on Binance, zoom out. On Binance, it's only gone down.
Oh, really?
Look at this. That's the whole chart. It's only gone down. So you've got a little dead count didn't get out. Second chance to get out, didn't get out. I mean, it was. I want to
get the chat. What's the next one to die? I mean, because things die in crypto. Like people get so.
Remember,
enamored.
we just had a major liquidity washout about 2 weeks ago, and people seem to forget that happened. Cadena It might. I mean, I think we might see some other bodies rising to the surface in the ecosystem, not just coins, but different financial service providers, DeFi. You gotta be a little bit vigilant right now because you never know. A lot of these companies out there that make it look like all roses and sunshine. Because if you go, let me see if I can find it. First off, by the way, make sure you're following Drew here. He's got such great content. I love this brother here. Make sure you give him a follow. Give me a follow. Make sure you follow and discover crypto. We're doing another Spaces tomorrow, Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Got some great guests coming on that. We had about 4,000 people last week. Make sure you are following this. But I wanted to highlight, come over to yours right here. I want to search, go over to ATHENA, and I want you all to realize something. It's not like there was all these signs and symbols telegraphed. I mean,
right.
This is 2 days ago. They are having a freaking hackathon and everything, end-to-end deployments in KDA. So, you're seeing a lot of activity, and then all of a sudden, hey, we're gone. Bye. So this couldn't come out of nowhere, especially after major liquidity issues.
So this is the comment I'm taking most seriously in the chat right now. IOTA from Crypto Stevo. Let's go look at the chart. And the chart could be one thing, but if we don't know what they're doing behind the scenes, if they're taking leverage out to keep their business afloat, and then Binance is like, bye. And then they're like, oh yeah, we're bankrupt now, guys. See ya. This looks like a problem though. This looks like a definite problem. IOTA looks like an issue. Lower highs and a drastically lower high in 2021 from the 2017. It's been around a very, very long time. Market cap now 500 mil. You know what? Steve-O, he rarely misses. So I'm taking what he has to say pretty seriously. But let me know in the chat if you guys think I'm nuts or what the project is that you think is going to die next, because don't get me wrong, there will be blood. So Coinbase coming out, partnering up with American Express, officially launching Coinbase One Card with American Express, offering up to 4% Bitcoin back on all purchases. Earning Bitcoin for spending dirty fiat, be it USDC, not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. So I have the regular Coinbase card, and yes, it works to purchase 2A instruments, things of that nature. They've never shut me down. And it even worked when the exchange wasn't letting me buy Chainlink, which was super sus. Now, this is great notes about what the hell we just witnessed yesterday at the Federal Reserve meeting with Sergey and Paxos and all of these different altcoin leaders. Circle is now getting direct Fed payment rail access through these skinny master accounts they described yesterday. No more dependency on Signature Bank type failures. Now, for anyone that wasn't there, when Signature Bank did go down in, I think it was like 2023, around like March, there was a large amount of value that Circle had in the bank. And for a moment's time, as Signature Bank fell, the stablecoin USDC fell to $86 on the dollar. It would have been great if it went to 86 bucks. Now, the systemic risk that crypto faces by being tethered into the existing monetary system is now expanded, and $2.5 billion in annual revenue at a current $75 billion USDC supply. This Fed conference has now confirmed stablecoins are indeed critical infrastructure. They've acknowledged it. They can't kill it. They tried to kill crypto. They tried to kill stablecoins. They tried to kill proof of work with Bitcoin. They failed, so now they're having to find a way to coexist. Circle at a $29 billion market cap, processing more volume than most banks right now. Direct Fedwire integration incoming. So some great words, some great thoughts, and some great quantification of what we saw yesterday. Now let's talk about $27 Chainlink. Let's go. Let's go. Chainlink price targeting 27 bucks as whales accumulate 54 million Chainlink at $16 a piece. Absolutely juicy. So Chainlink price structure rebounded sharply from $16, maintaining its consistent role as a powerful support range, on top of the fact that, yes, yesterday Sergey was the first and foremost one to be allowed to speak in front of the Federal Reserve of the United States Board of Governors. Kind of a big deal. But today, Sergey representatives from Ripple. I don't know if it's Stewart. I think Stewart's from, I can't remember who Stewart Alderati's from, but I know Ripple has representatives talking with Democrats right now on reasonable market regulations. So there is that going on, but Chainlink has been basically at the first and foremost of these conversations. Whales saw the action. They accumulated 54 million Chainlink at this level, further cementing it on a critical support line. On-chain data confirming this buying activity, which consistently aligns with the local reverses, a behavior signal calculated moves from large holders anticipating further price strength. So looking at resistance at 19.95 makes a lot of sense. That $20 zone, very psychological. But if we can break past this $19, $20 zone, we can once again target that $27 price range.
Very important there.
Yeah.
$27 price range sounds cool, great target. But here's the deal: $27 price range. This is basically going to be that level, $28. That's very important, because if we recapture this target, that would be great to get back there. But notice that we are in a multi-year, 2020 into 2021 into 2023, 2024, 2025, right? Multi-year compression into this. So I don't see Chainlink reaching the $27 target and that's it. This is a compression into everything that they've been working for, everything they've been working towards, and all the positive narrative excitement that people have been investing into actually coming to fruition. Meeting with the Federal Reserve, meeting with Democratic legislators in DC, and you know, getting integrated in SWIFT and DTCC and these major financial banks. So this to me is like the $27 to $32 range. That is the real starting point. If you can clear this zone, that's when you start to get some really exciting price action that potentially takes you into those upper targets that, you know, we've talked about a long time ago, but up into these zones, into the $100 to 210, up into 300, potentially even beyond. It's kind of anybody's guess where this market's going to go from here, because Chainlink is one of the few assets out there in crypto that isn't just selling a narrative still.
Right.
They have real things that have developed and manifested, real integrations. The fee structures on the partnerships are being acted upon. Other than Bitcoin and Ethereum, maybe some of the only crypto out there, Chainlink being so integrated, where everything else is still saying, no, believe in me, trust me, we're going to do it.
Right. And like I said, like, I'm very data driven. I'm very utility driven when I'm looking at projects. Chainlink is literally the second most highly convicted play and hold that I have in my portfolio, behind Bitcoin. Right. So it is what it is. Now, I'm sorry if you're mad about this, but I'm not sorry. Right. I've been saying this for years. You get the crypto you have at the price you deserve. Flat out. Okay. If you want to believe in something that's disruptive, that's a risky play, and that could change the world, that's up to you. Be able to pull the trigger and buy that project. Right now, I want to go into this. This is insane. Coinbase owns Base. Base creators ecosystem is Zora. Up only for Zora when. I see a couple people buying Zora in the chat, but some extra chaos came out yesterday. Jesse Pollock shared Domino's, this ticker for Domino's. This is one of the main people behind Base ecosystem under Coinbase. Shilled this contract address, and the market cap is $87,000. Okay. This thing dumped. It's basically at release point, massive amounts of sales. Retail are bludgeoned. They're terrified, and it's a perfect time for this market to reverse and cause max pain to it. Okay, it is. I'm sorry the world works this way, but it is the way the world works. Also, fantastic to find this out. So, according to some scientists, this is actually what Neanderthals looked like. But now we need to ask the question, is Al Green a Neanderthal? Okay. Very close likeness. Very, very similar. I had to just call it out. It is what it is. I know I make you uncomfortable sometimes, Kelly, but it's okay. Okay. It's okay. Now, in this time frame of uncertainty, people are going to jeet. People are going to run. They're going to be afraid. Okay. There's a lot of people out there on my timeline that are scared, but this is kind of what I'm seeing here. The timeline is full of threats over no food stamps in November. I feel like the bottom is right around the corner. Lock the F in. And this is my new outfit. This is my stage outfit.
I mean, you look like you're about to bust out and say, "Stop what you're doing," because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you use too. Oh, it's funny, but you're all making money. See your whole world. Yeah.
Oh
You look
my
like Humpty
God.
Dance there.
It's mass insanity going on right now. And I remember, like, what people look at me and they're like, maybe this guy's a little bit hyperbolic, but I'll remind you of what indoctrinated me at a very young age. It was these books. Okay. It was eyewitness books, Arms and Armor, Castles, Vikings, Explore. +1 in the chat if you remember these books. I absolutely loved reading these. Now,
they asked if you were Dwayne the Drew Johnson.
No, that's actually, it's a kind of a hybrid look. So it's a hybrid of Dwayne Rock Johnson's OG kind of high school look and then like my face, right? So drop us tickers in the chat for projects that you want us to look at on the charts. We've already covered XRP, Chainlink, Bitcoin. Ethereum might be worth a look, but I know you're doing a deeper dive on Ethereum tonight.
Yeah, we got a ETH video coming out tonight. And I do wanted to say all this peak fear. Oh my God, let's get it up, guys. The peak fear. It's never going to happen. And then, when you get back down into it, okay, not that one. But okay, we haven't got peak fear yet, but we're still seeing massive exponential growth in the real utilization of real world asset tokenization, meaning bringing those traditional assets I'm talking multi-billion, multi-hundred billion, trillion-dollar players getting integrated on chain. And this is just beginning. So while we're seeing peak fear in this moment and remembering that we've been there before, and in fact, somebody even posted the other day, said, "Kelly, how could you be posting this bullishness on the charts?" And what he's talking about was I was sharing an on-chain chart that suggested a likely pretty strong bounce here. He said, "It's a topping formation, don't you see?" And let's look at it. Pretty large move. Okay, a little bit.
You are banned.
Wonder what they did. But then also the smaller move here. So this does look like a topping formation, but let's go ahead and take a gander right in here. That is the same exact formation that we saw at the beginning of the cycle. Large moves, smaller moves, smaller move. And then the market just lit a rocket from $26,000, 3x up to 74. And that wasn't even the end of the cycle. So what coins did you want to look at right now to look at some other altcoins and talk about all these hopes and fears and what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, the first one that comes to my mind that's worth a gander is Near. I think Near, I feel pretty rock solid about Morpho. I saw that brought up. Athena and Near. I think we should pick on Athena and Near right now because Athena has just been getting bam, 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 just down the chart. And World Liberty Fi layered into it. All kinds of big players leaned into Athena. It is very, very odd to see it just sliding down the hill. I'd be banning.
I don't know where the hell my Near chart is.
It is what it is. But yeah, I think Athena and Near would be kind of fun to look at, Kelly.
All right, let's look at Near, which feels so far from being super bullish. We had the massive sell-off. I mean, let's delete all. You know what? Delete it all. Let's start from scratch. Okay, here we go. Let's just look at this portion of the chart right here. Let's do a fib, option F, go to the top there. We see this came down, found support on the golden pocket, came down, rejected at the golden pocket. And this has just been hanging on for dear life of that 786 as it stands right now. I will say, though, we do have a bit of a broadening wedge. No, it's kind of just an ugly channel. I don't know what this is. It just looks ugly as it can be. So we're not really gaining a lot of information there. I would draw a line over here just because that's the last little section with this high and this low. Finding support. So what does the data say? RSI, where is it? Below the 50 line. Look at that. Rejection. money flow finally starting to come back up, but there's no conviction there. Everybody's waiting on the go signal from Bitcoin to actually show that we're going to have some continuation in the market. This just looks like it's being held. I will say the washout here, the bulls kind of holding it here. If this can maintain this level, we still have a lot of work to do in here. So I think NEAR is still going to perform fairly well so long as Bitcoin continues up. So that's kind of what I'm seeing there. What was the other one? Athena?
Yeah, let's look at Athena. I think NEAR is AI adjacent, and it's been outshined by actual AI applications. I think Tau ate NEAR's lunch. That's my personal take on it. I see some people getting ready to get out or find an escape pump. It'll probably have an escape pump here or there, but yeah, I'm not feeling great about it. Let's check out Athena.
So Athena, weekly chart, money flow finally came back positive, and even with this massive washout, we maintained positivity, positive money flow. On the daily, look at this. It's fighting. Where is it fighting, guys? Why is it not pumping? What's the RSI doing? It's still pigeonholed down here in the weakness being in control under this 50 line. So I'm not really hoping for anything on a breakout of this until RSI can break above this 50 line and be supported. Money flow, exciting, but then completely lost. So that's on the daily. What does it look like on the 4 hour? Yeah, it's just weakness. It cannot stay in strength or weakness. Money flow coming up. It looks like everything is just in a holding pattern right now. You said XLM. I saw that.
Yeah, it's Stellar. And Stellar is in the ISO utility camp. I think Stellar is going to perform much better than XRP. I think Stellar is going to perform much better.
I kind of do too.
That's a better structure. Just generally, that's a much better structure.
A little bit better structure. This broke down. It's kind of holding right. You always want to look to the left. Where is it holding? Is there any other price action there? Look at that. This is where we're chopping. Rejection, support, support. So this is actually looking fairly decent. The RSI has actually come down quite low as well, and it's starting to sort of bottom out here with the money flow coming up. So this is actually looking pretty decent. This is on the daily. What does it look like on the 4 hour? Okay, look at this. It's really trying to break above this 50 line and not yet doing it with conviction, but that's different than what we saw in the last two coins, right? This is popping up. RSI the money flow is trying to make these swings and it just can't follow through. A lot of this stuff just looks like it's kind of in a holding pattern with the bulls trying and then the bears taking back over the bull. So I think the direction of Bitcoin in the next 2 weeks is going to determine everything for the rest of the year.
Now there's a micro cap that had some really exciting, potential attempted integrations with like Visa and this altcoin, a pretty new project. It was named Kita. It did just get listed, I believe, on Coinbase. And I think Kita is that the cutest dog?
She was just looking at me so sad. Like, dude, you've been on the computer all day. So I had to pull her up.
You've been working hard today. I appreciate you. Kita, I'll pull up my chart and take a gander at Kita to see what we're dealing with here. So Kita, I've seen kind of a lack of enthusiasm on X, but this is across the board. It's actually up on the day, which is quite impressive. Let's see here. I'll go to TradingView and actually check this out. I mean, you get a complete washout here. Now it's listed on Coinbase. If we have a basic rise to altcoins, it is a utility focused coin. And I think utility focused coins are going to have a better time than ghost chains in this bull market. I think this bull market, this alt season, going to be pretty selective, and I think utility coins are going to take the cake for the remainder of what we have left in alt season. It's got a $228 million market cap. Volume is up on it. It kind of looks pretty damn good right here. This looks like a giant washout, and it's probably going to pump pretty good from here. I could see that. Absolutely happening.
You got to do some fetch. They keep asking about FET.
FET?
Yeah.
I don't care about FET. That thing's all right. Fine. I think I hold some of this. I think I do.
Look them in the eyes. Tell them that you love
them.
It's
ASI. Let's see here. I hate name changes. Never work. Name changes to your coin never work. Okay. It doesn't matter if it's a consortium with the top AI projects in the world all coming together to kumbaya together. They changed the name to ASI, FET, left behind. It's actually ASI now.
You can still trade FET though.
Huh?
You can still trade FET. It's still charted.
I know. It's so insane. I know. I think this is a completely forgotten about. I think, okay, this was probably an insider VC pump and dump. Okay, and that's an uncomfortable thing to say, but this is what the chart's telling me. This looks like crime on a chart. It looks like crime on a chart. They had their moment. They knew the NVIDIA conference was going to pump their bags, and now they've dumped all over everyone. Okay, so it is what it is. You know, you can call me an idiot. You can say I'm wrong, blah, 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 blah. But many people have said that I was wrong about COVID when I told you about it in 2014, wrote songs about it. Many people said I was wrong about Ukraine happening when I said it was going to happen 2018, 2017. Many people said I was wrong about the New Deal and printing $20 trillion. And they're literally telling you to your face that they're going to do it. They're going to devalue your dollar exponentially over the next few years to put us all out of work. They're going to do their damnedest. That's why we have to fight hard on the blockchain for those bucks. I love and appreciate every single one out there in the chat. Make sure to share the screen, share the stream, and use Bitcoin IRA. If you believe in Bitcoin long-term, call 877-936-7175 and find out how to find that beautiful tax availability, incentives, and housing that you can find within a Roth IRA and all of the options that they have within Bitcoin IRA. And yes,
Bitcoin IRA, the leading platform.
You can trade up to 80 plus different altcoins inside of your IRA with that. So again, give them a call. Chris is an absolute legend. 877-936-7175. We just had lunch with a guy, as based as they come. Go love your family. Go treat your loved ones right and remain very based. I love and appreciate every single one out there in the chat. And we will see you on the next episode. Until next time.
You are banned!